Start here at 5:30 tonight with a date to mark on the calendar, September 14th. It's 3 weeks from tomorrow, and it's when the contract expires between the United Autoworkers Union and the big three Detroit automakers. Talking about General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis, which was formerly Fiat Chrysler. They've been in contentious negotiations with the union for several weeks now. Now, there is a lot on the line across America and certainly here in Western New York as well. Between two GM factories in our region and the Ford stamping plant, we have more than 3,000 local UAW workers. More than a third of those local union employees work at the Lockport components plant, producing things like radiators, condensers, and other parts for GM trucks. Workers from that factory rallied today not too far away at their local 686 Union Hall on Walnut Street in Lockport. And that's where we find Two on Your Side's Dave McKinley live for us tonight. And Dave, not just a rally there today, also an important vote, right?
Yeah, that's right, Michael. UAW members are voting at halls like this one, voting throughout the country on whether or not to authorize a strike if a new contract can't be hammered out between the union and the big three automakers by the time the current one expires, and that's in just over 3 weeks.
That's not what we want to do, but if we're forced to do it, that's what we're going to do.
Among the things the union representing 150,000 workers wants is better pay, elimination of the two-tiered wage system that affects newer hires, restoration of cost of living increases, improved pensions, and the return of retiree medical benefits.
All this is about getting our fair share, getting back what we gave up to make General Motors profitable after they took all the taxpayers' money to come out of bankruptcy.
Should a strike come to pass, it could take several forms. A strike involving all union workers against all the automakers could bring a quick resolution, but it would be costly to the union. Almost half the strike pay funds would be used up in 6 weeks, according to the Detroit Free Press. Or they could target one of the automakers, like they did in 2019 against GM, which cost that company nearly $4 billion and would be less costly for the union because it involves fewer workers.
4 years ago, you saw what General Motors and the UAW had to do to get an OK contract. Now, General Motors has made over $20 billion in the last 2 years, and we're just asking for a cut of that.
Or they could conduct an asymmetric strike. That's when they strike just at plants that make key components. They did this in 1998. This then results in other plants shutting down, but those idled workers who aren't on strike would be paid unemployment for being laid off. Again, crippling the companies, but not costing the union as much. But the one thing union reps do not talk about is strike strategy, only what's at stake for them.
The middle class is under attack. And at some point you have to draw a line in the sand and dig your feet in and say enough is enough. And that's what these brothers and sisters out here are doing right now. They said enough is enough, and they're going to show these corporations that they mean business and that they're going to have a strong vote to go on strike if needed.
All right, and Dave is continuing his live coverage now from Lockport. Dave, what did you hear from these workers in terms of how they're voting as they're coming in and out?
Well, among the rank and file, it was easy to see at the rally, of course, you got the impression most of them were voting to authorize the strike. But then several I talked to on the side, most all of them, in fact, who did tell me how they voted, said emphatically they were going to vote for authorizing the strike. Again, that wouldn't put them out on strike, just gives their union membership the authorization to call one if necessary. And you look at this, Michael, with 3 weeks to go before the current contract expires, as a bargaining tool for the union representatives to say to these companies, look, we've got our people behind us, so you need to act now.
And we'll see something like this tomorrow by the Ford stamping plant south of the city of Buffalo as well as this ramps up. Dave McKinley reporting live tonight. Dave, thank you very much for that.